Hello, my name is Megan Arns, and I am the Director of Percussion Studies at the University of Missouri School of Music. Today I will be playing the snare, keyboard, timpani, and multi-percussion etudes from the General Percussion Option for the 2021-2022 Missouri All-State Band Audition. At the end of each excerpt, I'm going to provide some helpful tips for your practice sessions. In this four mallet piece, there are two stroke types that are used: the double vertical stroke and the single independent stroke. It's mainly double vertical strokes almost in the entire first page, and then the end of the excerpts it switches to the single independent. So just make sure that your strokes are going from rotating up and down with the double vertical to rotating from the wrist for the single independent strokes. So practice going between those two. Also, all of the notes in this piece are located on the lower manual of the keyboard, so makes it easier in some ways and more difficult in other ways, but just be aware of that it's all going to be located on the lower manual of the keyboard. It is important to note sort of what is in the foreground and the background in this piece. Both hands are playing at the same time most of the time, but the right hand kind of sticks out at first, decrescendo, and make sure it gets out of the way so that your left hand can come in. The melody is in the left hand almost the entire time, especially in this excerpt. So once you get your right hand out of the way, you can kind of shape the melody of your left hand a little bit like this. Be a little bit musical with it, but just make sure that the listener is well aware of where the melody is and what's in the foreground and kind of what is in the background. In the right hand, there's primarily fifth almost the entire time, except in measures 10 and 14, when it changes intervals a little bit. So you've got this kind of persistent eighth note, fifth chord happening, but then in measure 10 and then measure 14. And for these, make sure that your mallet 4 is staying exactly where it is and that your mallet 3 is the one that's moving. And it should be moving by sort of rolling between the pad of your thumb and your index finger. So that's how you change the intervals if you're using Stevens grip. So just be aware of those. The left hand drops out so you can really focus on that. And make sure you're also shaping with the dynamics on the page during those sections. I recommend sort of using medium hard yarn mallets for this. You could use all four of the same mallets, but you could also use something softer in the base. And the reason for that is because the mallet 1 always stays down here. Mallet 3, the reason why it should be the same as mallet 2 and 3 should be the same because of those single independents, so that sounds really even. So that's what I recommend in terms of mallet choice there. One more note about the melody in the left hand is just to watch the syncopation here. It changes a little bit. So for example, on the second page, one time the rhythm is this. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it changes to the and of 4. So it's on beat 4 and then it changes to the and of 4. So that can be a little bit tricky in other parts of the piece too, but especially in that excerpt. Just make sure that you learn all the rhythms correctly in addition to the correct pitches. There are some helpful exercises in Julia Gaines's book, Sequential Studies for 4-Mallet Marimba, which this piece is from. So if you purchase the book, there are also a couple of pages of exercises and some helpful text that can give you some more pointers for this. But happy practicing on this 4-mallet piece. If you would like more information about the University of Missouri School of Music or about the Percussion Studio, check out our website in the description below. You can find our Percussion Studio's social media channels by searching for Mizzou Percussion on Instagram and Facebook, and view past performances on the University of Missouri School of Music YouTube channel.